For a while now, everyone's been saying the Elementor V4 atomic editor isn't ready. And they had a point. Elementor wanted us to work in this hybrid setup, half V3, half V4.
You bring in atomic elements where they make sense, on new sections, new pages, and of course, on new sites. But everything else stays as it is.
Which drove people crazy, me included. Nobody really wanted that. But that changed a few weeks ago. The last two pieces finally landed, grid and loops. So now everything you need to build a real site is actually there, which means you can drop the hybrid workflow completely and only use V4. The way it should have worked from the start. Here's the thing though, now that it's finally ready, most people are still getting it wrong, and it's always the same three mistakes. The first one is simple, they're still waiting. The wait is over, but they're sitting around for a version that's already here. The second mistake is AI. Everyone's a little panicked about it right now. Angie this, prompt that, is WordPress dead? And with all that noise, they skip the basic stuff that makes any of it work. The third one is the big one. This is the mistake almost everyone makes. They take their old V3 habits and bring them straight into the atomic editor. Style one element, then the next, same as always. But V4 isn't just V3 with new buttons. It's a completely different way of building. The only two things you need to understand now are variables and classes. That's it. That's the whole new approach by using a design system. Learn to work in this mindset and two things happen. 1, you're building on the right foundation. 2, you're ready for whatever comes next. Subscribe for Elementor tutorials and let's dive in. So let's start with a new page. Set the layout to canvas real quick, and that's pretty much the only thing we still have to do in the page settings. No global fonts to set up anymore, and the global colors here, we can finally skip those too. Instead, we click this icon here and go to variables, and from here we just add our own. I always start with the font. There's three types of variables: color, font, and size. I'll explain all three, but let's set our main font and secondary font first. We type in the name and pick the Google font right here. You can also upload a local font and add it the same way. Same for the secondary font. We just drop it in here. These font variables are the small pieces we put into our CSS classes later. Think of it like adding ingredients to a cake. Next up, the color variables. We'll have an accent color, this one. Just drop it in and call it accent. I'm also adding text primary, which stays white like it already is here. Let's do the same with text secondary. But you get the hang of it. Add all your color variables here. Okay, let me show you how I structure this. This is just how I name things. You'll probably do it your own way, and that's totally fine, but it helps to see a system that makes sense. Every variable is one of three types: color, font, or size. Start with color. These are the colors you define up front for a build. Your text colors, your backgrounds, your borders. I like to name them by what they do, not what they look like. So instead of blue, I'll call it accent. Instead of dark gray, text primary. That way the name still works even if the color changes later. Font's the same idea. You set your fonts once and name them by role. Font main, font second. Usually that's all you need. Then size. And size is the interesting one. It covers the most. Font sizes, border radius, widths, and spacing. Let's take spacing because there's a bit more to it. The scale goes from small to large, and that one scale covers three things: padding, the space inside an element; margin, the space around it; and gap, the space between items in a layout. Same scale for all three. So that's the idea. Three types and names that actually tell you what they're for. Do it however works for you. This is just a setup that's easy to live with. With this in mind, let's add size variables that actually scale responsive. But let's not add them here in the design system because it's designed weirdly for that. Instead, we start building the actual layout and add our variables via the Style tab. So I just dropped in this header layout, so we've got something to actually work with. Now we can start adding the variables it needs. But first, let's bring in those background colors we set up earlier, just so we can see what we're doing.
A few moments later.
Let's grab this title here. It's already got its color, but we still need the font. So let's give it this one. then a weight, and this one we just set, no variable needed. And last, the size, this here. Now here's where it gets good. Look at the value behind it. It's not a fixed pixel size, it's a clamp. And a clamp is basically 3 numbers in one. A minimum, so it never gets too small on phones. A maximum, so it never gets too big on widescreens. And a middle value that scales smoothly between the two. So instead of setting a size for mobile, then tablet, then desktop, you set this once. Same thing for this subtitle. Give it the font, the weight, and then the size. This time a smaller one, but same idea. It scales on its own. And I wanted you to add your size variables this way and not via the Design System Manager. Because for some reason, this is the only spot where you get the right option. This one here, for the clamp formulas. Next up, the spacing. And these scale too, just like the font sizes did. So here, let's say we want a bit of a gap between the headline and the subtitle. We head over to Style, then Layout, and in the gap field, instead of typing a number, we grab a variable. I've already got the clamp sitting in here, so let's take this small one. Another case. See this default padding here, the 10 pixels sitting around the flexbox? That's adding a bit too much space. And this is something we fix with a variable too. This time we don't need a clamp, just a simple 0 pixel value, like this. Done. Now let me show you the margins. Because sometimes you don't want the same distance between everything, so gap isn't the right tool. Instead, you want to set the spacing on the individual elements themselves. So first we unlink the margin here. And then, same as before, we reach for the spacing variables, like this. So as you can see, this whole thing is just consistent now. And the cool part is, if we ever want to change something, we don't change one element, it changes everywhere. Because we're not just copy-pasting styles anymore like we used to, we're actually using real global values now. And that's kind of the whole point. So far, everything in this header I styled locally. Each element just pulls its values from the variables, and honestly, that's fine. But take this title here, the Your Project Hub one. It's a heading style I'm going to want again. Other sections, other pages, and right now that styling only lives on this one heading. So let's turn it into a class. I select it, go up here, and give it a name. That's the class now. And here's what that gets me. Next time I've got a title like this, I don't touch the variables at all. I don't set the font, the size, the weight, none of it. I just drop this class on and it's done. So from here on, I'm not really styling anymore. I'm designing with classes. And if I ever want to change how my titles look, I change the class once and every title follows. And now let's do the same for the subtitle down here. Right now it's still styled locally, just like the title was before. So let's give it its own class too. I select it, go up here, and add a new one. And from now on, whenever I've got a subtitle like this, I don't style it again. I just grab this class, drop it on, and it's done. And that's where the real time savings come from on a build. And if you want to see where this leads, go check out my Client Project Hub. It's a full dashboard template for web designers built exactly like this. There's a link down in the description. And if you want to keep going, I made a video on 3 Elementor skills that make you way faster in the Atomic Editor. It's linked right here. Thanks so much for watching.